How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. So the stock market had a solid day today. S&P 500 up $12, up about 0.4%. The Dow Jones up $164, up 0.6%. And the NASDAQ ended up going up $40, up 0.4%, as the Russell 2000, led by the small caps, did the best, up 0.7%, roughly $10 in the green. And in this video, we're going to be talking more about the stock market, breaking down some technicals, and I also want to go over the top stocks that I'm looking to buy right now in August, many of which are breaking out, many of which had fantastic days today. And as always, we're going to be talking about what I personally did in the markets and what I've been doing in the markets as of late, and some earnings reports that just came out. So a lot to go over in this video. If you guys find value in it, as always, hit that like button for me. Join our Strive Smart Discord chat. It's free. Same exact thing with the Strive Smart Facebook group. Those are linked down below in the description box. And if you guys actually want 2 free stocks from Webull, you can also get that using my link down below. All you have to do is deposit $100 into the account, and we both get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400. So let's get right into it. The markets closed about 35 minutes ago, and let me tell you guys, today was a bit of a choppy day. We had up and down, some volatility. We had gold go up 50 bucks. Metals are crushing it. The stock market's crushing it. We're getting stimulus at the end of this week potentially. A lot is going on right now, and on top of that, we have earnings reports. So starting off with the S&P 500 here, again, up $12, and what we can see right off the bat, it's very evident the bulls won the day again. Same exact thing as yesterday, right? We talked about yesterday how the momentum from Friday's rally, the last 2 hours of the market on Friday, we saw a ridiculous rally. The S&P went from 3220 up to 3270. The momentum from that ended up rolling over into Monday. We saw a big gap up yesterday. And ultimately, you guys can see we held 3280, 3285 as a support yesterday, right? That's the general area that we held. And this is very prominent on the S&P because if we take a look back on this 30-day chart, you guys can see in the middle of July, 3280 was a resistance. We got rejected there on the 21st, the 22nd, the 23rd, and that is where we saw a bit of a sell-off leading into the beginning of August. So the fact that we pulled down and we held that level yesterday, and if you guys take a look at what happened today as well, we held 3285 in the morning and at about 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard, and we rallied off of it, hitting a new high, in terms of this 5-day, 5-minute. These are all pointing to the bulls winning, right? We held the old resistance as a new support. We held yesterday's support. We double bottomed, then we broke out, and we hit a new high in terms of this chart, breaking yesterday's, peak and today's peak from earlier at about 3,300. So very good in terms of the bulls at this point on the S&P 500, closing at about 3306. And at this point, guys, what am I looking for heading forward? I'm looking to see if the S&P is going to end up getting up to 3330. 3330 is the next big level here that we got rejected at back in the middle towards the end of January. So about 7-8 months ago at this point, we got rejected at 3330. So at this point, with the bulls winning today, yesterday, that's the point where I think the bulls can get us to. And after that, right, after that is where we might be headed up to all-time highs on the S&P 500, being around 3390. So looking good here for the bulls, guys, looking very good. And on the downside, of course, if we break 3285, which we held all week so far, and ultimately we break 3280, that is where we might see a bit of a sell-off in the S&P. But judging on how we closed today, breaking out of this range that we were in the past 2 days, I think we're going higher before we actually see a pull down. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. Nobody's right all the time. But if I were to go with my gut, I'm thinking we're going higher, maybe 33.30 before we see a pull down and a retest maybe at around 3,300 and then rally up to all-time highs from there. These are a couple of scenarios going through my head at this point. And when it comes down to the Dow Jones up to almost 27K, that's a big resistance we're looking at. I mean, we've been struggling there ever since the middle of July. We got hit there a couple of times, and I'm thinking if 27K breaks, I've been talking about this a lot on the channel, I think Dow Jones, no problem, is headed up to 27,500, which is where we were in the beginning of June. And like I've said on the channel, I mean, the markets, if you're looking at the Dow Jones especially, you know, it hasn't gone much. I mean, you know, it hasn't gone anywhere really ever since the beginning of June. So the markets have been flatlining when it comes to the Dow Jones. Let's go back to the S&P and see on the S&P. I mean, the S&P's finally, over the past couple of trading days, it's been taking out those highs from the beginning of June. And of course, the NASDAQ is well out of those highs in the beginning of June as we hit all-time highs literally today. And the Russell is almost out of those highs from the beginning of June. So what you're noticing here is the NASDAQ and the S&P is doing a lot better than, you know, the Dow Jones. Those two are doing a lot better than the Dow Jones, and we've talked about this before. It's because big tech controls more of the NASDAQ and the S&P than it does the Dow Jones, right? Because it makes about 20% of the S&P, those big six names, Microsoft, Netflix, Apple, Amazon, and Google, right? And Dow Jones only has Apple, and NASDAQ obviously gets affected by all of the tech stocks, and tech in general has been crushing it, and that's kind of why, again, the NASDAQ's leading the race, S&P second, Russell's third, and the Dow's kind of lagging behind. So that's kind of a quick little market update there. Not much to talk about, guys. Honestly, just watch 27K on the Dow for a breakout. On the bottom, watch 26,400. That could be a nice support at this point. And on the NASDAQ, again, like I said, we hit an all-time high. I think it happened right at the end of the market at around 11,097. And when it comes down to higher levels here on the NASDAQ, I'm thinking we're going to go there. We're going to go higher because we took out this big resistance at 11K, and the past 2 days, we've actually been holding it as a support, and today with the pop, we're headed higher. So I think once we get above 11,100, that is where we might start to see another leg up here in the NASDAQ, and it's crazy, but more all-time highs. I think more all-time highs could be coming here in the short term at least. And I'd love to know what you guys have to think down below in the comments section. And like I said, guys, gold went up $50 today, up 2.5%. And this is incredible. And the funny thing is, guys, last night I was up late. I was up at about 11 p.m., 12 p.m. It's not really late, honestly, but I was up at night, and I was buying gold. And a lot of people think I'm just a stock guy, which I'm mostly stocks, but I like gold as well. I think gold has a place in people's portfolios. Bitcoin, too. I know there's a big debate between gold and Bitcoin. We're not going to get into that in this video, but I like these alternative assets. And I ended up buying two, the Canadian Maple Leaf coins. I love these coins. I bought 2 quarter-ounce coins last night. And the next day, the price of gold goes up. You get lucky like that sometimes. Although I didn't make a profit on those coins, and I'm not looking to make a short-term profit. This is for a long-term hold. I still like the purchase, right? I like buying gold, and I like having some of it in, short, just not short-term, but having it as kind of a hedge against the dollar. And the reason why I didn't make a profit on it, and I'm not planning on making a profit, because you guys have to realize when you buy gold, especially on some of these dealer websites, you're going to have to pay a premium, whether it's 10, 15% above spot price, whatever, and you're going to have to also pay taxes on your gold. So this actually eats into the profit, but for me, again, I don't care because I'm buying this for long term, and honestly, I like collecting gold coins. I mean, my grandfather passed me down a couple of cool coins from the 80s, from the 70s, and I plan on doing that for my children as well. And, I just personally like collecting gold. Call me crazy, it's weird, but that's kind of what I like to do. And I think gold's going higher. I mean, I think gold's going to, 2,500. And if you guys have been following my channel, we've been calling out gold for months here. I mean, ever since the beginning of this crisis where it broke out of, 1,500, 1,600, 1,700. Once it took out 1,785, guys, this big resistance, this was back in the middle of June. I mean, we called it out from there as that being the breakout point to, all-time highs. And all-time highs were 1,900. Now, obviously, we're above 2,000. 2,037 is the new all-time high. And this is where we might find some support. I mean, 2,000 is serving as a psychological level of support here on gold. And with all the stimulus coming, the dollar losing its headway here, gold's going to continue going up, guys, as the dollar continues to weaken and as money continues to be pushed into the system. So let me know down below in the comments, what are your thoughts there? And just for out of curiosity, do you guys buy gold coins? Is anybody out there, do you guys buy precious metals? Do you collect them like me? Are you a gold nerd like me? I have a couple of cool different coins. Let me know down below in the comments. Now, let's get into what I did in terms of my stock trading today. And a lot went down today. I actually picked up a little bit more Netflix this morning, NFLX. And if you guys don't know, I've been in Netflix at this point for a couple of trading days. And my average was at around a little bit under $490 per share. So I'm up a good amount on my position at this point. And I ended up adding more to it today, quite honestly. This is one that I'm looking to swing trade at least until 5:30. Excuse me, guys, 5:30 up to 5:40, right? So I ended up buying more this morning, literally at the beginning of the day, no joke, at $502 per share. As I saw it rallying up this morning, pretty much solidifying, this higher low pretty much on this intraday chart. You guys can see it on the 5-day chart as well. As we just held this and rallied up this morning, I wanted to add more into the strength. So I ended up averaging up, and that's the thing, guys. A lot of the time, I don't like penalizing my winners when it comes to swing trading. If something's going up, I might add more to it. I might very well just add more to it. And that's what I ended up doing today. And my average cost at this point, although I didn't write it down here in my notes, it's in the higher 490s at this point. It's in the higher 490s. And I think I have the Netflix position built. And I'm probably, again, going to ride it up to 525, 530. That is the goal sell price. And I think there's a lot more to go in this particular stock. And I actually took a little loss on Tesla today. TSLA got in at 1520-ish, 1521 roughly. You guys can see on this 20-day chart. You can see it better on the 10-day chart. 1520 has been a big resistance on the stock pretty much ever since the end of July here. And I jumped the gun a little bit. I got in here thinking that Tesla was going to break out of 1525 today and rally up into the low 1600s, 1640s, and I'm going to make a killing, right? That's what was going through my head this morning, and we actually got rejected there. I got in at the worst time. I ended up literally getting in right before the drop, and I cut losses at about, I think, 2-3%. I let it ride down to about, I think, like 1475. Let me double check that. Yeah, you can see 1475. That's around a 3% loss on there. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows, guys. I'm making money, but I'm also losing money at the same time. You can't win every single trade. Like I said yesterday, and like I say on my videos, the goal with trading is to maximize your gains and minimize your losses. So I'm maximizing my trades here, and I'm minimizing my Tesla losses. And you'll see what other trades I ended up locking in profits here today. So Netflix, I'm in. Tesla, took a little loss there, and I'm not saying we're going to go lower on Tesla, but I'm looking to see if we get a confirmation break out of 1520 before I get in again. And we're going to see what happens, guys, because I don't want to end up getting faked out again. So that's what I did with Tesla. And GDX ended up crushing it today. And if you guys don't recall, I ended up getting into GDX on Friday at $42.33. And I locked in profits today, later on in the day, at $44. So that was a pretty strong move there. As you guys saw earlier, we talked about it. Gold went up $50 today. Massive move in gold. That had to have influenced the price of GDX today. So overall, that move was around, let's take a look, about a 5% profit on GDX. CLX also crushed it for me today, guys. I got into this one yesterday. So as you can see, I mean, you win some and you lose some, right? I'm winning with Netflix. I'm winning with GDX. I'm winning with CLX here. You'll see in a second. And these are overriding, let's say, my loss in Tesla, right? So that's kind of what you want to go for. CLX, yesterday we called it out and talked about it. I got in at $230.10, and I ended up getting out at $238. So I literally got, timed this one pretty good, guys. At the end of the day today, I took a lot of profits, GDX and CLX as well. $238, guys. So literally right at the peak pretty much of today, I ended up getting out. And like I say a lot in these videos, sometimes you can time the top. It happens, but most of the time you're not going to time the top, right? That's just the reality. And for me, I did today, and the move ended up being around 3 to about 3.2%. And Workhorse, guys, I'm still in Workhorse, and like I said yesterday, I'd probably kick myself for not locking in profits, and I'm kicking myself, guys, because I had the chance yesterday to lock in profits at $19, and I ended up pretty much losing all of that profit as Workhorse dumped from $21 nearly after hours yesterday down to about $17 today. So we lost 10%, and yeah, I probably should have locked in profits. I got a bit greedy yesterday, but it's okay. It happens, guys. That is how it goes sometimes. And it seems like the hype, the short-term hype about the Lordstown going public through a reverse merger with, what was the ticker symbol on this one? DPHC, Diamond Peak Holdings, which is a SPAC. This hype might be dying down a bit today, but not to say that it's going to crash through the floor here on Workhorse, but we're just seeing some profit taking, right? And we're going to have to see now at this point what ends up happening at around $16.50. If we end up holding this point, $17 as a support, that is pretty important in my personal opinion. So I'm still in Workhorse at about $16.40, holding on, and I'm pretty long and strong at this point on this stock. We'll see what ends up happening there. And that's what pretty much what I ended up doing today. A lot of action, took some losses, left a lot of profit on the table due to me being kind of greedy yesterday, and I locked in profits, guys. So that is what I did. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys did, and the point of this is to kind of get you to understand what goes through my head when I'm trading, and kind of why I take the positions I do. So let's get into some earnings reports at this point, guys. A lot is going down in the earnings world today. Beyond Meat, let's take a look at what they're doing. I didn't see, I said actually twice there. I didn't see what they reported. We're going to take a look live right now. The stock's selling off, so that can't be too good of news. But we can see, okay, Beyond Meat Q2 EPS came in at -2 cents, and that was in line with estimates. Sales came in at $113 million versus the $99.84 million estimated. So they beat there on revenue. EPS came in line. The stock ended up going up 6% today. So people were bidding this thing up heading into earnings, but we're down after hours. We're down from 145, which was the peak here after hours, down all the way to 131. So it lost pretty much all of the gain today and some. I mean, it's down about 9% from its peak here after hours. So this could be interesting, guys. I mean, overall, Beyond Meat is still kind of it's I guess you can say it is breaking out of the wedge. It held 125, which is good, but with this sell-off today, we're back under a key resistance under 135, and we got rejected now by the 180 SMA. So we're kind of in a funky spot here where we're breaking out of the wedge, but we're still seeing some headwind here from resistances. So I'd like to see if it finds some sort of support around 130, 132. If we start to see a rally up into the mid-130s tomorrow, you know, we could start to get a break back up into the 140s, and that could easily happen, you know, with a crazy volatile stock here like Beyond Meat. So I'm watching that. We'll see what ends up happening when it comes to their guidance. I'm not too sure if they're going to give guidance, but I'm not too sure why they're dropping. Oh, we can see here maybe it's from a widening loss in their you know, EPS there. They're probably losing more money than expected. So that's could be pushing down the stock here when it comes down to BYND. But either way, I'm looking for that move again into the mid-130s. Disney is another one. Highly anticipated earnings here from Disney. And look at that. Look at that. What did we say yesterday, guys? What did we say yesterday? And for the new viewers, I'm going to tell you guys what we said yesterday. I said, Disney, you can expect that it's going to go down in price, potentially, right? You'd think that, right? You'd think with the parks not operating full capacity, the business is not doing too well, they're cutting their dividend, they slashed one of the semi-annual payments, you'd think that the stock is going to get crushed after earnings, right? That's what you think, right? But the market, it throws a lot of curveballs at you. The market, it does what you don't think it's going to do a lot of the time. You know, it does the exact opposite. And what do you know? Disney up $6 per share after hours here. It actually hit $124 per share. It's up after hours, guys. It is up. And when it comes down to their earnings, they had EPS of 8 cents versus the negative 64 cents estimated. So they completely obliterated EPS, and revenue came in at $11.78 billion versus the $12.39 billion. So they missed on revenue there, but they crushed EPS, and that is what we're seeing in terms of the stock. The stock's moving up on that. And when it comes down to their individual business segments, what they reported in earnings, let me scroll down here. I'll give you guys some stats. You guys can see here, Disney, the media network's revenue came in at $6.56 billion. Studio entertainment came in at $1.74 billion. Let's take a look at the parks. Theme parks revenue dropped 85%. That is ridiculous. Subscribers on Disney Plus hit 57.5 million. And oh, take a look here. The Q3 parks, experience, and consumers products revenue was $983 million. So, I mean, guys, they're taking insane hits on their business, and yet the stock is up. This is the stock market for you. If you're new, you got to get used to this craziness because it does the opposite of what you think it's going to do. So Disney is popping up here, and we're getting closer and closer to this channel that we were in, you know, ever since the beginning of this crisis, right? You guys can see it right here. I mean, we were trading in this for months, and with today's pop, if we break out into the high 120s, we might start to get back into this channel where we can get up to the 130s, mid 130s, but we're still not there, guys. We can't get ahead of ourselves. We're going to have to see what ends up happening, but overall, the price action here on Disney is pretty solid. And Activision Blizzard ATVI is another one that we were anticipating. Let's take a look and see what they ended up reporting. Okay, let's go and see. Okay, where is it, guys? Let me scroll down here a little bit on the live news tab. Okay, we can see EPS. They see full-year adjusted EPS at $2.87. They see the revenue coming in at about $7.27 billion for the full year of 2020. So that's some guidance there. I want to see now what the EPS came in at. EPS came in at what was this? Revenue, okay, EPS came in at 81 cents on Activision. Revenue came in at $1.93 billion. I'm not sure why it's not comparing that to the estimates, but here it says they beat estimates and they provided the full year guidance, which could be ahead of expectations here, which would be phenomenal. But either way, oh, here it is, guys. Here it is. So they beat EPS 97 cents versus 68 cents estimated. Sales came in at $2.07 billion versus $1.7 billion. So beats there on EPS and revenue. And Activision is down from $90 here pre-market today down to where it's at right now at about $85. So this could be a very strong dip buy heading into tomorrow. No doubt about it, as we try and hold 85, which if you guys look on this 3-year chart, roughly $85 was an old all-time high, was an old resistance, so it's imperative for the bulls to hold that. And if they do tomorrow, I'd most likely end up getting in. So Activision, that's what they did. Wynn Resorts ended up reporting today as well. They got pretty bad numbers, honestly. Negative $6.14 EPS versus negative $4.98 estimated. Revenue came in at $85.7 million versus $212 million. So they got destroyed when it comes to revenue. And the stock's up after hours. It is up after hours here. And ultimately, we're seeing a bit of support at around $69-70 here on Wynn Resorts, stemming back from the end of June. So is this the point where we finally see an upwards move in the stock? I'm waiting to see what ends up happening. And Upwork ended up reporting UPWK. They actually are down quite a bit, down about $3 after hours, but this spot, 1550, is pretty critical. It's right at that 50 SMA on this 2-hour chart, right at an old resistance. So if we end up holding 1550, $16, we could end up seeing some sort of rally. And they ended up reporting EPS of negative 3 cents versus the negative 9 cents estimated. So they beat there on EPS, and revenue came in at a pretty nice beat as well, $87.5 million versus the $80.3 million. And they ended up guiding Q3 sales between 89 to 90 million, 91 million versus the 85 million estimated. So pretty good guidance there, and the stock's down about $3 from its peak. That's a 17% drop. So we could see some sort of gap fill here on Upwork from $16, $15.50, $16 up to, let's say, $17, $18. So those are the main earnings that I wanted to go over in this video. Now, very quickly, let's break down some other stocks. Let's see how long this video has been. 27 minutes. Wow, we're actually trucking along. A pretty long video today. Some other ones that are breaking out like crazy today. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, up 10%. Up $7.37. A bunch of analysts upgraded this stock, guys. This is unbelievable. Just when you thought AMD was going to drop, the stock keeps going higher. People are saying they're going to be the next $100 billion chip company. And ever since Intel kind of pushed back one of their chip releases, I think a year or two, whatever it ended up being, AMD's been on a tear, guys. And on top of that, they reported pretty strong earnings. So this is definitely one worth watching here. NEO is another one that I'm loving here, guys. We talked about this exact thing yesterday. I was talking about how if NEO ends up taking out 1350, watch out for the breakout, because that's a big spot. Big resistance, right? Stemming back from really the middle of July, we've been struggling at 1350. So we took 1350 out today. We rallied all the way up to 1450. We pulled down, and now we're holding 1350 as a new support, old resistance as a new support. So we could end up making a move now back up to 1450, which from where we are now, that is around a 7%, potential for profit here on NEO. Another one worth watching is Square. This is breaking out of this little wedge that we were talking about. Hit an all-time high today at 137.8. They're reporting earnings on the 5th of August, so this could go even higher, guys, believe it or not. I know it's crazy. I wouldn't be surprised if 140, 150 hit on this particular stock. Uber, UBER, reports on on the 6th of this month. I believe that is on, what is that, Friday? Thursday, Friday, whatever. Thursday it is. And they're up 5% today. They're breaking out of the moving averages here on the 4-hour chart, trying to make a way back up to 34.50. That's a pretty big resistance coming up here on Uber. And 3 more stocks, guys, very quickly. McDonald's up 2.5% today at a big resistance at 200. I think if 200 breaks, we're going up to 210, 215 here on McDonald's. Caterpillar still struggling at about 130, but it's still holding as a support. And as long as 130 holds, guys, and we start to get some headway into 132, 133, 135, I think Caterpillar could be headed up to 140, which is the next gap here that could fill. And the last one here, Tech Giant, down about $120 off its highs, is Google. I'm watching this dip by. They reported numbers. They did decent. You know, they had some bad advertising numbers there, dropped the stock down compared to some other tech names. And I think it's going to recover ultimately. And from here up to that high, there is around a 7% potential. So keep an eye there on Google. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up there. If you all enjoyed it, hit that like button for me. Make sure to join our free Strive Smart Discord chat. That's linked down below. Same thing with the Discord, not the Discord, the Facebook. That's free and linked down below. And make sure to also claim your 2 free stocks from Webull, valued up to $1,400. All you have to do is deposit $100 using my link down below, and you get 2 free stocks, and I also get 2 free stocks since it is an affiliate link. So I appreciate you guys watching, as always. I really do. And yeah, stay safe out there. Keep crushing it in the markets. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.